This is definitely the scariest American horror movie I've ever seen. Known as the ceiling of horror movies in the past decade, it's a weird prequel comparable to Lenses. Friendly reminder that the entire video is high energy. Will strongly recommend it to your lucky friends. Watch together. The story begins in remote Antarctica. A scientific research team is under the glacier. A mysterious alien spacecraft was accidentally discovered. At the same time, still not far away, found one. Unknown creatures frozen under the ice. To find out, several people chose to put the monster together with the ice cubes. Pulled back, the doctor ordered someone to use a 30-meter-long electric drill to drill into the ice. Take a small piece of tissue section from it. Serve as sample study. At night, Dr. can't wait. I have a good news to share with you all. Found after research. This is an alien creature. Everyone has listened. The inner joy cannot be expressed in words, because this is the first time in human history. Definitely an unprecedented discovery. But just as they were celebrating wildly with red wine, alien creatures in the ice are quietly thawing. At this time, the puppy in the doghouse seemed to smell the crisis. Start chewing the barbed wire crazily, trying to escape from here. At the same time, Lao Hei just finished using the toilet. Suddenly I heard a strange noise coming from behind me. Follow the direction of the sound. Lao Hei came all the way to the room to check. As a result, I saw that the ice cubes were slowly melting. At this time, Lao Hei felt something bad in his heart. But just when he wanted to tell everyone the news, the giant creature in the ice suddenly burst out of the ice, disappeared in the blink of an eye. Wait until everyone arrives. All that's left are empty ice cubes. At this time, no one could believe their eyes. In order to find the giant creature, everyone launched a blanket search in the camp. When the doctor and others came to the kennel, all I saw was a pool of blood. At the same time, Carrie and Lao Jean are searching carefully outside. Sudden, a strange sound came towards the ears of the two of them. Carrie cautiously stepped forward to check. I didn't expect the monster to be hiding here. Carrie quickly told his companions what he had discovered. But the next second, looking at the scene in front of me, Lao Jean was completely frightened. He screamed for help desperately. But wait until everyone hears the sound and rushes over. Carrie has been eaten by monsters. When everyone saw this, they hurriedly shot at the monster. However, he couldn't hurt him at all. Seeing the monster about to break out of the house, Brother Beard quickly took out a barrel of gasoline and threw it over. Then throw the burning rod into the oil barrel. Accompanied by a loud noise, the monster stopped moving on the spot. Subsequently, everyone dragged the burned remains of the monster back to the laboratory. Found after anatomy. Carrie was eaten in just a few minutes. He actually became one with the monster. What is even more puzzling is that the steel plate used to set bones in Carrie's body, but was pushed out by monsters. In order to fully understand the reason, Xiaomei took out Carrie's tissue slices. Research overnight. But through the microscope, I saw an incredible scene. I saw that Carrie's tissue cells did not die, and after being engulfed by another cell, copied it again. In other words, the monster is slowly turning into Carrie's appearance. This discovery made Xiaomei feel vaguely uneasy. So the next morning, Xiaomei plans to tell everyone about this important discovery. At this time, several people are busy. Take the frightened Lao Jean to treatment. Looking at the backs of several people leaving, Xiaomei suddenly had an ominous premonition in her heart. He just thought he was overthinking. So I went to the bathroom to wake myself up. However, when he finished washing his face, I actually saw a few bloody steel teeth underground, and a pool of blood was found behind the shower curtain. A moment later, he seemed to realize something, run out quickly, and waved his arms wildly, signaling the helicopter that just took off to land. At this time, the pilot on the plane also understood Xiaomei's gestures. But just as he was about to land, the man in the cabin suddenly had his face cracked. Then countless tentacles exploded from the body. Watch everything happening in the sky. Even though Xiaomei was extremely worried, but there is nothing you can do. It doesn't take a while. The helicopter lost its balance. Then it crashed not far away. In response to this emergency, everyone decided to go to the rescue. But just as they were preparing to set off, Xiaomei suddenly appeared, and kept trying to stop him. He will study the blood sample of last night's guest, told everyone, and concluded that the monster is still alive. And the reason why the helicopter crashed, he must have been attacked by a monster too. However, after hearing Xiaomei's words, but people don't think that, and accused him of talking nonsense, intentionally causing chaos. Seeing everyone still doesn't believe it, Xiaomei took out the steel teeth she found. Although monsters can clone cells in the human body, but he can't clone inorganic matter. That's why Ganya was pushed out by him. And now, some of them must have turned into monsters. Because just now, Xiaomei returns to the bathroom to check. It was discovered that the blood stains had been cleaned manually. But even so, everyone still didn't want to believe Xiaomei's words. Then he got up and left to go rescue. Only Lucy believed her. Then she told Xiaomei, "You know where your car keys are, as long as the two of them get the key first, to prevent them from going to the rescue." So Lucy brought Xiaomei to the room, and told her the key was in the drawer. However, when Xiaomei hurriedly searched for the keys, but I heard, then there was a sound of numbness in the scalp. Xiaomei was immediately frightened and ran away through the door. At this time, the man with glasses who heard the commotion came out to check. As a result, he became the monster's meal on the spot. Critical time. Brother Beard hurried over with a flamethrower on his back. Under the scorching flames, the monster was directly roasted into a barbecue. Subsequently, everyone dragged the monster's remains outside and burned them. Looking at the corpse of the monster that turned into Lucy, only then did everyone finally believe what Xiaomei said. And at this time, Xiaomei conveyed another bad news to everyone. He speculates that the monster has not only become Lucy, and there are monsters among us. As soon as these words came out, Everyone is terrified. Xiaomei bluntly said that dealing with monsters is like dealing with viruses. Just isolate him first. Killing him will solve the problem completely. The immediate priority. We need to find the hidden monster quickly. And also destroy the car. Stop monsters from escaping silently. However, just when everyone was preparing to split up, but suddenly saw, not far away, two figures were walking slowly. Take a look. It turned out to be the pilots Lao Hei and Jack on the plane. Brother Beard concluded on the spot that they must have turned into monsters, because under normal circumstances, it's impossible for anyone to survive a crash. After saying that, he picked up the flamethrower and prepared to burn the two people to death. At this time, Xiaomei stood up and stopped him. Because before things are clear, never kill innocent people by mistake. After discussion, everyone unanimously decided to lock them up first. However, one wave has not subsided and another wave has arisen. At this time, a fire suddenly broke out in the laboratory. All testing instruments were burned to ashes. It seems that the monster took action in advance. At the moment, they can no longer identify who the monster is through testing. Just when everyone is restless, Xiaomei said she still had a way, since monsters cannot copy inorganic objects. So as long as people have metal on their teeth, it must not be a monster. After some inspection, 4 people were targeted. Then Xiaomei ordered Brother Beard, bring the imprisoned Lao Hei and Jack for examination. But when they came to the house, only to find that the two of them had escaped. Just when Brother Beard and his companions were looking for the two of them, a huge force suddenly appeared, dragged Brother Beard directly into the house. My companions who saw this scene were completely frightened. He hurried back and told everyone, Brother Beard has been killed by a monster. As soon as these words came out, they immediately caused a commotion in the crowd. But at this moment, Jack and Lao Hei suddenly broke in. The two sides suddenly became at war with each other. No one dares to act rashly. Under the instigation of Golden Retriever, the bearded man rushed over with a flamethrower. As a result, he was shot to death on the spot by Lao Hei. At this time, the leaked flamethrower suddenly exploded. The Golden Retriever, who had no time to escape, was knocked unconscious by the explosion. Then Jack and Lao Hei raised their guns to control everyone. And he ordered people to help the Golden Hare up. Obviously they are not monsters. However, just when they lifted the Golden Retriever up, the Golden Retriever's arms suddenly started falling off. And takes on a terrifying shape to attack. Everyone in the room was frightened by this scene and backed away. At this time, the monster disguised as a Golden Retriever also slowly revealed its true form. When Jack saw this, he immediately opened fire on him. However, the flamethrower malfunctioned at the critical moment. Can't shoot fire. At this time, a huge tentacle bursts out of the body. In just a few seconds, several companions died here. When Lao Hei saw this, he still wanted to resist with all his strength. And the next second, he was directly penetrated by the monster. After taking care of Lao Hei, the monster slowly crawled towards the dying Curly Hare again. Come directly to the other party. Close contact. No matter how disgusted Curly Hare is, the monster remains unmoved. At this time, Xiaomei finally repaired the flamethrower. But just as he was breathing fire at the monsters don't have martial ethics. He ran away before he could. After burning the unmutated corpse, Xiaomei begins to reach a consensus with Pilot Jack. Prepare to work together to kill monsters. They carefully entered the room and searched. However, when the two of them were looking for each other separately, the monster suddenly breaks in through the window, and headed towards Jack. The unarmed Jack could only flee for his life in a hurry. Then he hid in a kitchen. But then the kitchen door was slowly opened. The monster has broken in. Jack was too scared to breathe. But the monster still smelled it. He came straight towards Jack. At the critical moment, Xiaomei arrived in time. Facing the scorching fire, the monster was so frightened that he ran away. But Xiaomei doesn't want to let him go like this. He hurriedly chased out, baked the monster directly until golden brown. Just when the two thought they had wiped out all the monsters, but suddenly saw, the monster who turned into a doctor is driving away from here. When the two saw this, they also drove and chased after them. The pair discovered the abandoned car shortly after. Looking for traces left by monsters, the two came to the spaceship. And then the spacecraft suddenly started. Xiaomei fell into the spacecraft before she could escape. Wait until he wakes up. I was deeply attracted by the blue floating objects in front of me. Xiaomei curiously stepped forward to check. But then the monster suddenly appeared from behind. Xiaomei tried her best to escape but ran into a dead end. Fortunately, the narrow space inside makes it impossible for monsters to enter. After several unsuccessful attempts, the monster became silent. However, just when Xiaomei thought it was safe, the monster suddenly punched through the wall. Then a big hand directly pulled Xiaomei out. Life and death. Xiaomei took out the bomb she carried with her, throw it into the monster's mouth, accompanied by a loud noise. The monster was instantly blown to ashes. At this time, the spacecraft was also affected and stopped operating. The crisis is finally over. After experiencing life and death, Xiaomei suggested driving to a nearby scientific research station for help. But just as I was getting on the bus, Xiaomei glanced behind Jack's ear, suddenly stunned. The earrings that Jack had been wearing were missing. Then Xiaomei opened fire on him without hesitation. Months later, the police are here to check the situation. Just got off the helicopter. I saw a dog suddenly run out. Upon seeing this, the police immediately shot him several times. He didn't hit a single hit. Obviously this dog is no longer an ordinary dog. I am Xiangzhu. See you next time.